Hey everyone, welcome back to Arpeggio Yoga. This is our second session of the new year, but it may be a few days into the new year. It could even be February by the time you're watching this. As my shirt says, every now and then I fall apart, and it's not unusual to start something and then let it lag for a little bit. So it has been a few days since I actually recorded the first episode that you've watched for 2021. Dwight D. Eisenhower said that freedom is the opportunity for self discipline. And so, as we start this whole new year, 2021, after a crazy and chaotic 2020, I suspect a lot of that craziness and chaos will continue into this next year. It is an opportunity for us to add structure into our own lives to focus on self discipline. And if you've fell off the wagon of maybe you had really great intentions at the beginning of the year, you did episode 21, which was our January 1st episode, and you had every intention of giving it a go of 21 practices in 2021 in those first 7 weeks. You may have done one and then lost your stride already. So no problem at all. That's the nice thing about YouTube. You can pick up at any point that you wish. Right, so we're going to start this session off from a standing position in mountain pose. Feet are together, pointed straight. If you need a little bit of space between them because of knee shape or ankle shape, if you've got knobby knees like me, go ahead and do so. We're grounding down through the feet to the mat, to the floor, and then lifting up through the rest of the body. So nice straight spine. Our hands are to our sides, fingertips pointed down, palms facing in, our elbows, the eyes of our elbows facing each other into the body. That's pulling down. Our shoulders are rolled back and going down. Everything else is lifting up, right up through our straight spine, through the top of our head, through the crown of our head. It's just a very nice grounding pose to start our second session. We're going to introduce you to a few other poses in this session that we didn't do in the previous one, just to add a little variety to our practices. Now, on inhale, let's lift our arms up to the side. Let's take a breath here. On your next inhale, let's lift our arms up. Palms can face each other. And exhale, arms back down to the side. Let's repeat this about 5 times on your own. Deep breath, inhale, arms up. Exhale, return to the side. 3 more. If your mind begins to wander like mine has, I can't remember if that's been 3 or 4. Let's do one more. Just return to your breath and bring your focus back to the practice. We're going to do some standing cat-cow poses now. We did it from the kneeling position from all fours in our last episode. So in this one, let's bend your knees slightly, just ever so slightly. Hands just above your knees or on your thighs. On an inhale into cow, tilting the pelvis forward, lifting up through the chest. Shoulders can roll back. And on the exhale, bringing the navel to the spine. Wave through the spine just as we did when we were in the kneeling position. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. And I'll turn for you to see this as well. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. 2 more. Excellent. And let's return to mountain pose. Now on an inhale, let's lift our arms up overhead, palms facing each other. You can step your feet about shoulder widths apart. It's just a palm tree pose. So on an inhale, bending to the left. Let's make that bend through the upper body. Keep your shoulders on an even plane from front to back. Exhale through center, inhale to the other side. Exhale through center. Inhale other side. Let's do one more on each side at your own pace. Excellent. Return to mountain pose. Bring your arms up to grasp opposite elbows. We're going to just do a trunk twist. And you can have this twist go all the way down through your hips. So you can reach as we go to the left first. Take a deep inhale and center. Exhale, twisting to the left. You can bring your right hip around toward your left knee. Inhale through center. Exhale to the right. Don't twist so far as to injure your left knee, but you can take the twist a little bit at the hips. One more on your own. And return to mountain pose. I introduced Sun Salutation A in the first episode. Now I'm going to introduce Sun Salutation B. So go into the front of your mat. From mountain pose at the front of your mat. On an inhale, we're going to lower our hips, sit into a chair pose. Keep your knees pointed forward. Don't let them splay out. Upper body is upright. Palms are facing each other. Eyes of your elbows facing into each other. On an exhale, forward fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, all the way back to high plank and lower down your chaturanga. On this first one, you can place your knees on the mat, lift up to low cobra, and exhale, back to downward facing dog. This being our first downward facing dog, let's go ahead and walk it out through our calves a little bit. So we didn't do a big calf warm up as we did in our last practice. Lift those hips up and back. Nice straight line from your wrists to your hips, and then from your hips to your heels. Now gazing forward, lift the right knee towards your chest, placing the right foot down at the base of your right thumb. On an inhale, rise up to a high lunge. Exhale, reframe the foot, step it back, lower through your chaturanga. Cobra or upward facing dog, and then return to downward facing dog. Lifting your left knee to your chest, stepping through, left foot to the base of your left foot, rise up to a high lunge on this side. Reframe your foot, step it back to plank, lower through your chaturanga. Return to downward facing dog. Then step, hop, or float to the front of your mat. Return to that flat back. Forward fold. Inhale, return to your chair position, your chair pose. See if you can drop it down a little lower into that chair. And then an inhale, return to mountain pose. I'm going to miss this warm Phoenix sun when I'm back on the East Coast in a few days. So I'm not going to complain about sweating, but the sun's baking me right now. Let's do one more sun salutation B. So for mountain pose, reset if you need. Inhale, set back into the chair. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half flat back. Exhale, step both feet back to plank and lower through your chaturanga. And return to downward facing dog. Lift your right knee to your chest and step your right foot to the base of your right hand. Inhale, rise to high lunge. Exhale, reframe the foot, step it back, and lower through chaturanga in your flow. Lift your left knee to your chest. Place the left foot at the base of your left hand. Rise up to high lunge on this side. And reframe the foot. Step it back. Lower through your flow. And meet me back in downward facing dog. Step, hop, or float back to the front of your mat. Flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, return to chair. Exhale, back to mountain pose. From mountain pose, we're going to step our right foot back into warrior two. We're going to track the instep of our right leg. Right leg will be straight, foot's parallel to the short edge of the mat. The left heel is going to be in line with the center of the instep of your right foot. And that right knee is going to be at a 90-degree angle, or as close as you can get to it. But that knee is tracking over the heel, and the knee's pointing forward over the second, third toe of that left foot. Arms will raise. Your hips will be in line with your knees. Arms raised, palms are facing down. The gaze goes out over your second or middle finger of the left hand, of the forward hand. Take a couple of breaths here. On your next inhale, turn your left palm up, reaching back, sliding that right hand down the left leg. Stay grounded through both feet, particularly through that back foot. Gaze goes out toward your elbow, or if you can, further up toward the palm of your left hand. Let's return through warrior two. Check your position. Now in a side angle pose, we're going to reach over with our right arm and just rest our left elbow, left forearm on the knee. Lift that right shoulder back, face your chest forward. The right palm is facing down. And your gaze can go up towards your right elbow. Couple of breaths here. Return to warrior two. We're going to go do a triangle pose from here. Go ahead and straighten your left knee, reaching out from the waist, reaching out forward over your left fingertips, and then down the triangle. Now, if you want to use a block here, if you can't reach the mat, like me, you can use that block here, either on the side or in the highest position, whatever it takes to be able to open your chest to the front and tracking that right arm straight up above. Let's return to Warrior 2. And then step back to the front of your mat to Mountain Pose. Now we're going to go to the other side. I'm going to do it from the reverse on the mat just to keep in view of you. So from mountain position, step that left foot back, tracking the left, the instep of your left foot, the right heel of your right foot, bending that right knee to no more than the 90-degree angle, or no less than, as close as you can get to the 90-degree angle, right? Your knee's tracking over your heel and forward over that second toe. Turning the hips toward the outside edge of the mat. Arms are up, palms facing down, spine is straight, gazing out over the right fingertips. Take a breath here. On your next inhale, turn the right palm up, leaning back, sliding that left hand down over the knee for a reverse warrior. Gaze goes up toward your right fingertips or the inside of your forearm or elbow. Let's return through Warrior 2. And now left arm is going up, palm facing down, bending at the waist, extending through that left arm, resting on your right elbow or right forearm onto your right knee, just above the right knee. Excellent. Come back to Warrior 2. Straighten the right knee now. And reaching out toward the right. And now pivoting down, either placing your right fingertips on the mat, on a block to keep your balance, opening those shoulders, opening your chest to the front or to the side of the mat, left palm facing the side. It's a triangle pose. Excellent. Back to Warrior 2. And step back to the front of your mat. Go ahead and shake anything out from your hips, whatever feels good here. We're going to come back to Mountain Pose at the top of your mat. So from Mountain Pose, again, rooting through the feet, into your mat, fingertips, palms are facing together, eyes of your elbows are facing in toward the body, fingertips are extending down toward the ground, you're rolling your shoulders back and down. Everything else, from the shins, knees, thighs, up through your spine, through the crown of your head, is pulling upward. Very strong pose, grounding pose in the mountain. From here, we're going to settle down to the mat and come down to hands and knees, untuck the toes. And we're going to rest back in Child's Pose. And remember, if it's easier for you to spread your knees a little wider and rest your torso in between, that's certainly available for you as well. If you have lower back issues and you need a little extra support, you could take a block Just set it between your feet, just for a little lift on the back beneath your pelvis. Feel that stretch through your lower back. You can walk your fingers forward a little bit. Reach your sacrum backward toward your heels. If you can do it without the block, even better, to be able to reach that sacrum back and get that full stretch, separation of each vertebrae through your spine. Excellent. From here, the Garland Pose, or what's known as a squat. If this is your first time doing a yogic squat, you might want to put a block underneath. If your hips are really tight like mine, we're looking to get our arms in between the legs. I'll turn in a moment so you can see a little bit better. You can either sit on a block, or if you need to, put the mat or roll a towel underneath your heels, you can do that. Just a little bit of lift forward sometimes helps. Just take a few deep breaths here to feel those hips opening up. You can push out on your knees with your arms. Helps with the hips a little bit more. We'll do another practice soon where we go deep into hips and hamstrings. One more deep breath here. Excellent. And as easy as you can, take it easy on your hips and your knees. Let's come back over to tabletop. Knees are tracking underneath your hips. Wrists beneath your shoulders, shoulder width apart. We'll do a stretch for the shoulders now. I'll thread the needle. I'll start with the left arm first so you can see it a little bit better. On an inhale, we're going to lift the hand in the air, left arm. Exhale, thread it through the space between your right knee and your right wrist. You can come all the way down to your shoulder, rest your cheek on the mat. Just settle into that onto your shoulder. And take a couple of deep breaths here. Excellent. Pushing up with your right arm again. Raise that left arm into the air and return it to the mat. Now on the right side, rising up. Exhale, thread it through your left knee and left shoulder or left wrist. And settle down on that right shoulder. Feel that stretch through the right tricep, across the strap of your shoulder, around to the back, your lower neck. A couple more breaths here. Excellent. Inhale, arm back up. Exhale, return it to the mat. From here, we're going to get into half pigeon first, and then a sleeping swan pose. So probably best way for this is to curl your toes back under again, and pushing through your palms of your hands, lifting your knees, lifting your hips up and back to downward facing dog. And we'll start on the left side. On an inhale, just lift your left leg in the air behind you. And gazing forward, we're going to take the knee, setting the knee just behind the left wrist, knee pointing forward. You can have the foot back toward your groin. You're going to untuck the left foot or left toes. And in this half pigeon where the foot is back, knee pointing forward, you can use your fingertips if you need it for balance. You can place a block under your left hip if you need that extra support. From here in pigeon, take another deep breath here. Feel it opening those hip flexors on your right side, through the glute on your left. Now, sleeping swan. Let's take the left shin and work it to where it's close to parallel to the short edge of the front of the mat. Again, keep your right foot untucked, toes untucked. And now settling down, you're going to feel this a lot more in that left hip. Down to your forearms, or you can cross your palms, rest your head on your palms. Settle down as deeply as you can. Let's take 3 or 4 deep breaths here. Try to keep your right hip turned down toward the mat so it's not lifting up, so you're getting the full stretch through that left glute, left hip flexors, inner thigh. This either feels really good or really bad. It shouldn't hurt though. If it hurts, lift yourself up from this. We can modify, or you've got the ability to fast forward as well. One more deep breath here. All right, take it slow, come up out of that. And let's push up through your palms and pull that left foot back, high plank, and then back to downward facing dog. We'll do the same on the right side. Now inhale, lift your right leg in the air. Bring your right knee to the base of your right wrist. Again, knees pointed forward, foot is back in this half pigeon. Rise up through the spine here. If you need to tent your fingers for stability, go ahead and do so. Use a block under that hip if you need a little extra. Wherever you're at is fine. Goal of the pose is to get that spine straight up though. Excellent. Now, roll to your right hip slightly to get that right shin parallel to the front of the mat. Twist that left hip back toward the mat. And we're going to fold over to your forearms or resting hands on palms. Whichever side you turned your head last time, turn it the other way. Let's take 3 or 4 deep breaths on this side. Feeling it through your right hip, the glutes, hip flexors, inner thigh, that whole area. If you're like me, nearing 50, and never having really done much to open my hips, these are some of the most beneficial poses for me. Squats, sleeping swan, pigeon. We'll do a practice soon that just focuses on hips, hip openers. I think most men have the least mobility in their hips. And certainly strengthen those muscles around the hips, those hip sockets, and the core in general. It's going to help you with lower back issues. It's just going to help prevent injuries in general. But we'll ease into that. All right, lift yourselves back up. Take it back to downward facing dog.
If you're going to walk out through your calves again, we didn't do much calf work today, but you may feel them tightening up a little bit from the work we did in Warrior 2. Walk them out a couple times here. And then we're going to step through to a seated staff position. If you want to get fancy and swing your legs through and float, you may be looking for a different channel. That's not happening here just yet. From the staff position, let's bring your right knee back. Place your foot, base of your foot, against the inside of your left thigh. And we're going to bend forward, do a head to knee stretch. So on an inhale, both hands up, extend through the spine. Exhale, lean forward. And the goal is getting your head toward your knee. If you're like me, it's not on your knee yet. Continue to breathe. On an inhale, you can extend your spine. Exhale, settle down and just stretch a little bit more. If you need a strap, you can certainly use a strap here, just gently. The goal is reaching your head toward our knee, though, not dipping your head, but the entire upper body down toward the knee, and not so much toward the toe. So don't overextend or overstretch here. Just gently if you're using a strap. Again, inhales, you can extend through the spine a little. Exhale, reaching the chest toward your thigh, your head, that gaze going toward your knee. Excellent. Let's release that slowly. And return the right leg out in front. Rock that right leg side to side if you need. A lot of work's happened on that right hip today. You'll be feeling that one later. All right, bring the left foot up into the inner side of your right thigh. On an inhale, raise your arms up. Exhale, bending forward at the chest, reaching that chest forward toward your thigh to the base of your knee. Goal is ahead to the knee. If it's not there yet, don't force it. If you need a strap, again, I like this infinity strap, but any yoga strap will do, a belt, anything, just to give you a little extra pull. Inhales, extend the spine. Exhale, reach with your chest toward the knee, to the top of your knee. That gaze is going toward your knee. Goal of getting the head to the knee one day. Not today for me. Inhales, extending. Exhales, bending forward. Awesome. Release that. Release that left foot alongside the right. Go ahead and shake that out. Lie back now, gently. And then a wind release pose. Let's bring our left knee to our chest. Hands can go just below the knee. Bring that knee towards the chest. Feel that stretch to the back of the left leg, into the glute. Good, release that. Bring your right knee toward your chest. Fingers interlaced below the knee, not right on the knee. We don't want to cause any extra knee injuries that aren't already there. The idea is to relieve ourselves of the pains we might have as we get a little bit older. Great, release that. Let's bring both hands to the chest. You can bring your head up towards your knees. Just rock that out a little bit. Release any other tensions there in your sacrum. Practice. Excellent. Lower your head. Return your feet to the mat. Extend it out. Going to settle now into Shavasana, into corpse pose, whatever adjustments you need now to settle into the end of the practice. The windshield wiper my legs, side to side. Let them settle where they're comfortable. Make sure nothing's touching them. Nothing's going to interfere. Rock your hips side to side. Let them settle where they need to settle. Put your sacrum flat to the mat. I like to lift my chest and roll my shoulder blades under my chest. Palms are upward. Eyes on my elbows facing upward. Hands out to the side. Again, no obstructions. And I rock my head side to side a couple times and let it settle to where it's flat. Eyes are closed. Even if the sun isn't beating down in your face, go ahead and with the eyes closed. When the windows are closed and the shades are drawn, we're able to focus on what's inside a little easier. Return your focus to your breath. As I've stated before in previous practice, if you're having a hard time focusing or your focus is shifted, counting the length of your inhalations and exhalations can help bring your focus back inward. This is the time of the practice when our body transfers all the new knowledge it's gained to the mind to store it for future. You'll find each of these poses in the future a little easier to do. Go a little bit further with regular practice. You'll begin to experience true freedom. As Eisenhower said, freedom is just the opportunity for self-discipline. I'm included in that group that goes hot and heavy starting a new project and can slip very quickly. So getting back on track, hopping back on the bandwagon, whatever the cliches you want to use to get back into it, do so. Arpeggio Yoga is asking 21 sessions from you. Commit to 21 sessions in 7 weeks. Just 3 a week. Ease yourself into an everyday practice. I know asking for every single day yoga from you from day one. Well, some people that's easier to establish a new habit. Others, it's an easy way to not start. So let's ease into it. Just 3 a week. At the end of 7 weeks, you'll be able to say you did it. Make sure you like the video. Let me know that you did it. You can keep track at home in your own calendar as well, right? But make a goal for yourself to have that self-discipline to establish a 3-day-a-week practice for now. We'll revisit that after February. Start bringing awareness back to our feet, our toes, with our fingers. Pedal your feet out a little bit. Bring the blood back to the extremities, your wrists, your ankles, up through your legs, through your arms, through the core of your body.
Let's reach your arms up overhead. Deep inhale and stretch all the way from the tips of your fingers to the tips of your toes. And then exhale, release all of that out. When you're ready, let's roll to the side, your favorite side, into a fetal position. And then slowly up to an easy seated position. For those of you who have made it through our second session of the year, big kudos to you. Thanks for joining me. Be sure to leave comments in the comments section below the video to let me know what kinds of practices you'd like to see into the future. And subscribe, share the channel with your friends. Check out the links in the description and the show notes that tell you where you can get Arpeggio Yoga t-shirts, hoodies, all the merch. And the shirts that I wear are oftentimes from $6 tees or from Threadless. I put links to those. I don't get anything back for that right now. I'm just tracking to see if I'm sending any business their way. Maybe we'll get an affiliation in the future. So again, like, subscribe, share. Let me know what you think of the practice, what you'd like to see in the future. Whatever's ailing you is likely ailing me as well. We'll do some practices designed to help with these different ailments, different injuries, different stretches that we need. So until next time, be well. Namaste.